My son had been dead for exactly 9 days when his business partner called me. I was sitting in my son's home office, surrounded by his things, trying to find the strength to start packing them up when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Mr. Anderson?" A woman's voice. Shaking. "Urgent." "Yes." "This is Rebecca Walsh. I was your son David's business partner. We need to talk. In person. Today, if possible." "Okay," I said slowly. "What's this about?" There was a long pause. "I found something. Something about Amanda. Something you need to see. But Mr. Anderson, don't tell your daughter-in-law I called. Don't tell her we're meeting. Don't tell her anything. Not yet. Please." The way she said it, the fear in her voice, the urgency, sent chills down my spine. Amanda, my daughter-in-law, David's wife of 7 years. The woman who'd been sobbing at his funeral just 4 days ago. The woman who was upstairs right now, in the bedroom she'd share with my son, supposedly too grief-stricken to come out. "What did you find?" I asked. "Not over the phone," Rebecca said. "Can you meet me at the coffee shop on 5th Street? The one near David's office? In an hour?" "I'll be there." I hung up and sat there for a moment, my heart pounding. Something about Amanda. Something Rebecca couldn't tell me over the phone. Something I couldn't tell Amanda about. I looked up at the ceiling. Amanda was up there. Had been for 3 days. My son's widow. The mother of my 3-year-old grandson, Tyler. The woman I was supposed to be helping through this tragedy. But instead, I was sneaking out to meet someone who just told me not to trust her. 1 hour later, I walked into that coffee shop. Rebecca was already there, sitting in the back corner. She was younger than I'd expected, maybe 35, professional looking, but her eyes were red and puffy. She'd been crying. She stood when she saw me. "Mr. Anderson, thank you for coming." We sat down. She slid a folder across the table. "Before you open this," she said, "I need you to understand something. David was my best friend. We built that company together from nothing. He was like a brother to me. And what I'm about to show you, it killed me to find it. It's going to kill you too. Before I tell you what was in that folder, before I reveal what my daughter-in-law had been hiding, you need to subscribe to this channel right now. Because this story is about losing a son and discovering the woman he married was someone completely different than who she pretended to be. Hit that subscribe button. You want to see how this ends. Let me back up so you understand the whole picture. My name is Robert Anderson. I'm 67 years old. My son David was my only child, born when I was 30. My wife Ellen, and I raised him with everything we had. I worked as a high school teacher for 35 years. Ellen was a librarian. We weren't wealthy, but we were happy. David was brilliant, top of his class, got a full scholarship to college, studied computer science. After college, he and his friend Rebecca started a software company. Small at first, just the two of them in a garage. But they had an idea, a good one, a platform for small businesses to manage their operations. Inventory, payroll, accounting, all in one place. The company grew, slowly at first, then faster. By the time David was 30, they had real investors, real clients, real revenue. He was making good money, more than I ever made as a teacher. Ellen and I were so proud. Then he met Amanda at a charity gala. She was beautiful, charming, worked in event planning. They dated for 6 months before David brought her home to meet us. Ellen loved her immediately, thought she was perfect for David. I was more cautious. There was something about Amanda I couldn't quite pinpoint. The way she asked questions about David's company, about how much it was worth, about his financial future. She seemed more interested in what he had than who he was. But David was in love, head over heels. They got engaged after a year, married 6 months later. Big wedding, expensive. Amanda's parents paid for most of it. They had money, old family money, the kind that came with country club memberships and vacation homes. I wondered why Amanda was so interested in David when her family was already wealthy. But I kept my mouth shut. My son was happy. That's what mattered. Ellen died 3 years ago. Heart attack. Sudden. Devastating. David took it hard. We both did. But he had Amanda, and they had Tyler, who was just a baby then. I had my grandson, my memories, my grief. David threw himself into work after his mother died. The company became his obsession. 16-hour days, weekends, holidays. Rebecca told me later she was worried about him, that he was burning out. But the company was thriving. They just landed a major contract. We're looking at going public within a year. David would be worth millions, maybe tens of millions. He was 43 years old and on the verge of massive success. And then he died, just like that. Heart attack, just like his mother. He was at the office, working late, collapsed at his desk. Rebecca found him, called 911. They tried to save him, but he was gone before the ambulance arrived. The funeral was a blur. Hundreds of people, employees, clients, friends. Amanda was devastated, or seemed to be, wore black, cried constantly, couldn't speak during the service. I gave a eulogy, talked about my son, about the man he was, the father he was becoming, the legacy he was building. Afterward, Amanda actually collapsed, had to be helped to the car. The doctor said it was grief, shock, trauma. She couldn't function, couldn't take care of Tyler, couldn't take care of herself. So I stepped in, moved into their house, took care of my grandson, made sure Amanda ate, took her medications, got through each day. I was grieving too. My only son was gone, but I had to be strong. For Tyler, for Amanda, for Ellen's memory. Rebecca came to the funeral, but kept her distance. I thought it was odd at the time. She and David had been so close, built a company together, but she barely spoke to anyone, barely spoke to Amanda. I assumed she was grieving in her own way, processing. Now, sitting in this coffee shop 9 days after my son's funeral, I understood. She'd already found it. Whatever was in this folder, she'd known at the funeral. And she couldn't look at Amanda knowing what she knew. Open it, Rebecca said quietly. I opened the folder. Inside were printed emails, text message screenshots, bank statements, photos. I started reading and felt my world collapse all over again. The emails were between Amanda and a man named Marcus Reeves. They started 2 years ago, flirty at first, then explicit, then planning a future together, planning what they'd do once David was out of the picture. The text messages were worse. How much longer do I have to play the devoted wife? He's working himself to death anyway. We just have to wait. Once he's gone, I get everything. The house, the company shares, all of it. Then we can finally be together. I couldn't breathe. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the papers. Keep reading, Rebecca said, tears streaming down her face. The bank statement showed Amanda had been siphoning money from their joint accounts for months. Small amounts at first, then larger, transferring it to an account in her name only, over $400,000. Money David had been earning. Money he thought was going toward Tyler's college fund, toward their future, going into a secret account David knew nothing about. Then there were the photos. Amanda and Marcus, at restaurants, at hotels, kissing, holding hands. The most recent photo was dated 1 week before David died. 1 week. She'd been with this man 1 week before my son's heart attack. Where did you get these? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. David's computer, Rebecca said. I'm the executor of his will. I needed access to company files. I found a hidden folder. He'd been collecting evidence. For months. He knew Mr. Anderson. He knew Amanda was cheating. He knew about the money. He'd hired a private investigator. Was planning to file for divorce the week after he died. He never told me. I said, he never told anyone except me. He called me 2 days before he died. Said he needed to talk. We met for lunch. He showed me some of this. Said he was going to confront Amanda, file for divorce, fight for custody of Tyler. He was devastated but determined. And then her voice broke. And then he died. You think she had something to do with it? The question came out before I could stop it. Rebecca looked me in the eyes. I don't know. The autopsy said heart attack. Natural causes. He had high blood pressure. Stress. Bad genetics. You said your wife died the same way. But Mr. Anderson, the timing. The fact that she was planning to leave him. Planning to take everything. And then he dies right before filing for divorce? Right before she'd lose half of everything in a divorce settlement? Instead, as his widow, she gets it all? I felt sick. There's more, Rebecca said. She pulled out another document. This is David's will. He never updated it after learning about the affair. So as it stands, Amanda inherits everything. The house, his life insurance, $2 million, his shares in the company, worth about $8 million once we go public next year. She gets it all, and there's no prenup, nothing to stop her. What about Tyler? David's will leaves everything to Amanda with the understanding she'll care for Tyler. But legally, it's all hers. She could spend every penny, and there's nothing Tyler could do about it. Why are you telling me this? I asked because David would want you to know. Because someone needs to stop her. And because... She hesitated. Because I found something else. Something that might prove what I suspect. She pulled out her phone, showed me a screenshot, an email from Amanda to Marcus dated 3 days before David died. I found something that might help us. Dee's been so stressed lately, so anxious. His heart has been racing. I read that certain supplements, if taken in high enough doses, can cause heart issues in people already at risk, especially if combined with his blood pressure medication. I'm going to start adding them to his morning smoothies, just to help with the stress, of course. If something happens, well, that's not my fault. That's just bad luck. I read it 3 times. 4 times. She poisoned him? I don't know, Rebecca said. It's vague enough that it could be innocent, just a wife trying to help her stressed husband. But combined with everything else, with the timing, with what she had to gain, we need to go to the police. With what? Suspicious emails? Circumstantial evidence? They ruled it a heart attack. Case closed. Unless we can prove she gave him something specific, in specific amounts, with intent to harm, we have nothing. She'll say she was trying to help, that she had no idea supplements could be dangerous, that it's just tragic coincidence. If you've ever suspected something wasn't right, but couldn't prove it, hit that like button. And tell me in the comments, what would you do with this information? Because what I decided to do next changed everything. So what do? I asked. Rebecca leaned forward. We investigate. Quietly, we find proof. Real proof. And then we destroy her. We make sure she doesn't get a penny of David's money. We make sure Tyler is protected. And we make sure everyone knows who she really is. How? I need access to the house, to David's things, his computer at home, his files, anything Amanda might not know about yet. You're staying there. You have access. You want me to spy on my daughter-in-law. I want you to find the truth about what happened to your son. I thought about David, about the man he was, about the father he was trying to be, about the fact that he died knowing his wife had betrayed him, about my grandson growing up with a mother like Amanda. What am I looking for? Anything. Receipts for supplements. Search history on her computer. Text messages. Financial records. Anything that proves intent. Anything that shows she knew what she was doing. And we need to move fast. Amanda's going to want you out of that house soon. Once the life insurance pays out, once she has the money, she won't need you taking care of Tyler anymore. She'll hire a nanny, and you'll lose access. She was right. I went back to the house. Amanda was still in her room. I knocked. Amanda? I'm back. Do you need anything? No. Her muffled voice came through the door. I just want to be alone. Okay, I'm taking Tyler to the park. We'll be back in a couple hours. No response. I took Tyler, and on the way to the park, I called a friend, someone I trusted, someone who knew about computers and security. And I asked him to install monitoring software on Amanda's laptop and phone, remotely, without her knowing. He did it that afternoon. Within 3 days, we had everything. Amanda's search history from a week before David died, supplements that cause heart attacks, undetectable heart attack, how to trigger heart attack in person with high blood pressure, life insurance payout timeline, her text messages with Marcus. It's done. He's gone. We just have to wait a few months. Play the grieving widow. Then we can be together. Messages to a lawyer asking about contesting wills, about minimizing what David's father could claim regarding Tyler, about protecting assets from family challenges, financial transfers the day after David died, moving money from joint accounts to her personal accounts, canceling David's donations to his mother's favorite charities, researching how to cash out David's company shares as quickly as possible, and emails to Marcus about selling the house, about moving to California together, about leaving Tyler with me, his grandfather, because he'd be too much work and would interfere with our lifestyle. She was planning to abandon my grandson after taking everything my son had built, after possibly killing him. I called Rebecca. I have it. All of it. Everything you need. We went to the police. Brought everything. The original evidence Rebecca had found. The new evidence from Amanda's computer. The suspicious email about supplements. The searches. The texts. The timeline. The detective looked at everything. This is substantial, he said. But the heart attack was ruled natural causes. To reopen this as a criminal investigation, we'd need physical evidence. The supplements she mentioned, proof she actually gave them to him. Without that, a good defense lawyer will tear this apart. What about the fraud? I asked. She's been stealing money, moving assets. That's civil. Divorce court stuff. If he were alive, he could sue. But he's not. She's his legal widow. Technically, the money was joint assets. She's allowed to move it. What about the affair? Not illegal. Immoral, yes, but not a crime. So she gets away with it? The detective sighed. Unless we find concrete evidence of intent to harm, yes. She'll get away with it. I'm sorry. Rebecca and I left the police station defeated. We can't let this go, she said. We can't. What else can we do? Then she smiled. A cold smile. We can make sure she doesn't profit from it. Even if we can't put her in prison, we can make sure she doesn't get David's money. We can expose her. We can destroy her reputation. We can make sure everyone knows who she really is. How? The company is about to go public. David's shares are worth $8 million. As his widow, Amanda inherits them, but there's a morality clause in our partnership agreement. If a shareholder is found to have engaged in fraud or behavior detrimental to the company's reputation, their shares could be diluted or bought out at reduced value. We can't stop her from inheriting, but we can make those shares worth a lot less. You'd tank your own company? I'd tank a portion of value temporarily to keep a murderer from profiting. The company will recover. It's strong. But Amanda, she'll be exposed and broke. Over the next week, I documented everything, copied every file, every email, every text, made backups of backups. Then Rebecca and I did something that would either work brilliantly or blow up in our faces. We scheduled a family meeting. Told Amanda we needed to discuss David's estate, his assets, Tyler's future. We gathered everyone. Amanda, her parents, David's lawyer, the company's board members, me, Rebecca, and we presented everything. Every email, every text, every piece of evidence showing Amanda's affair, her stealing, her plans to abandon Tyler, her searches about causing heart attacks. The room erupted. Amanda's face went from confused to white to red. This is fake. She faked all of this because she's jealous. She always wanted David. I have the original files, Rebecca said calmly. Time-stamped. Authenticated. David's forensic IT specialist verified everything. You want to claim it's fake? Fine. Let's get the police involved. Let's have them forensically examine your devices. Let's see what they find. Amanda's lawyer leaned over, whispered urgently to her. Amanda's face crumbled. I want immunity, she said. I'll tell you everything. But I want immunity from prosecution. The lawyer shook his head. You don't get to negotiate that here. That's for prosecutors. Then I'm not saying anything. You don't have to, I said, standing up. You already said everything in your texts and emails. You already showed us who you are, and now everyone knows. Her parents looked horrified. Her father stood up. Amanda, tell me this isn't true. Tell me you didn't. Daddy, I can explain. Did you cheat on David? Silence. Did you steal from him? Silence. Did you? He couldn't even say it. Couldn't ask if his daughter had killed her husband. David's lawyer cleared his throat. Based on this evidence, I'm obligated to report potential fraud to the authorities regarding the estate, given the affair and the financial impropriety. I'll be recommending the court appoint an independent executor. Amanda, you'll likely face civil suits, possibly criminal charges depending on what the police find. And regarding Tyler, Mr. Anderson, as the child's grandfather, you have legal standing to petition for custody. Amanda jumped up. You can't take my son. You were planning to abandon him. I shouted back. Your own texts say he's too much work. That you were going to leave him with me so you could run off to California with your boyfriend. That's not. I wasn't actually going to. I was just venting. You're a liar. You lied to my son. You lied to me. You're lying right now. And I will not let you raise my grandson to be like you. The custody battle took 4 months. It was ugly. Amanda hired expensive lawyers. Tried to paint me as too old, too grief-stricken, unfit. But we had the texts, the emails, the evidence of her affair, her theft, her plans to abandon Tyler. The judge ruled in my favor, gave me full custody, granted Amanda supervised visitation only. She was furious, appealed, lost. The police reopened the investigation into David's death, found supplement bottles in Amanda's possession. Autopsy toxicology had shown elevated levels of certain compounds. Combined with his medication, they could have caused a heart attack. But proving intent was impossible. The DA declined to prosecute. Insufficient evidence for murder charges, they said. But they did charge her with fraud for the money she'd stolen. She took a plea deal, returned the $400,000, paid fines, got probation, no jail time. But her reputation was destroyed. Her wealthy family cut her off. Ashamed, her friends abandoned her. Marcus Reeves disappeared the moment legal trouble started. Turns out he wasn't interested in Amanda, without David's money attached. She's working now, some administrative job, living in a small apartment, sees Tyler twice a month under supervision. He barely knows her, calls her Amanda, not Mommy. It's been 2 years since David died. Tyler is 5 now, living with me in the house David bought, his house that I managed to keep through the estate settlement. We have dinner together every night, read stories before bed. I'm teaching him about his father, about his grandmother, about the people who loved him. Rebecca is part of our lives, too. Comes to birthday parties, brings gifts at Christmas. She's Tyler's godmother in everything but paperwork. The company went public last year. David's shares were worth $12 million. As Tyler's guardian, I manage the trust fund. Every penny will go to him when he's old enough. For college, for his future, for the legacy his father built. Amanda tried to reconcile recently. Asked if we could start over. If I consider shared custody. If she could be part of Tyler's life again. I made mistakes, she said. But I'm his mother. I love him. I deserve a chance. You were planning to abandon him, I said. You called him too much work in a text message. You chose your boyfriend over your son, just like you chose your greed over my son's life. I didn't kill David, she said. The police couldn't prove it. No, I agreed. They couldn't prove it. But I know. Rebecca knows. And someday Tyler will know too. He'll read those messages, see those emails, and he'll understand what kind of person his mother is. You're poisoning him against me, she accused. No, I'm protecting him from you. There's a difference. When he's 18, when he's an adult, I'll give him all the evidence. Let him decide for himself if he wants a relationship with you. But until then, my job is to keep him safe. And you are not safe. She left crying, threatening lawyers. But she had no case. The judge's ruling was clear. Tyler stays with me. Looking back, I realized how close we came to losing everything. If Rebecca hadn't found that folder, if she hadn't called me, if we hadn't investigated, Amanda would have gotten away with it all. The money, the company shares, everything, and Tyler would have been raised by a woman who saw him as an inconvenience. Or worse, abandoned to foster care while she lived in California with her boyfriend spending my son's money. Rebecca saved us. She risked her friendship with Amanda's family, risked potential lawsuits, risked everything because she loved David and wanted justice. He'd be so grateful. I told her once, David, for what you did. He saved me first, she said. Took a chance on me when we were starting the company. Believed in me when no one else did. Made me his equal partner when he could have kept more for himself. I owed him everything. This was the least I could do. It wasn't the least, I said. It was everything. If this story made you think about trust, about seeing people's true nature, about protecting those who can't protect themselves, I need you to do something. First, subscribe to this channel. We share real stories about betrayal, hidden truths, and fighting for justice even when it seems impossible. Second, hit that like button if you think Rebecca did the right thing by exposing Amanda. Or comment if you think we went too far. I want to hear what you think. Third, tell me in the comments, have you ever discovered someone you trusted was living a double life? How did you handle it? I read every comment. And if you want more stories about uncovering the truth and protecting family, check out the video on your screen. Thanks for watching. And remember, not everyone who cries at a funeral is grieving. Not everyone who says they love you means it. Pay attention to actions, not words. Protect the innocent. Seek the truth even when it hurts. And never, ever let evil profit from destroying good. My son is gone, but his legacy lives on in his son, in the company he built, in the people he helped. Amanda tried to steal that. We made sure she failed. That's justice. That's love. That's what David deserved.